Good afternoon! Hey, Football Friday. What a day. What a glorious day. It's football, it's sunshine, it's got that fall crispness in the air.
Speaking of fall Christmas, did you see what the hell the weather is supposed to do?
Get hot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was going on here?
Yeah, summer 4 coming your way.
Mine in Newburgh, it says 86 for Portland, but it says Tuesday here is going to be 86.
Yeah.
It said 90 for me.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sorry, what?
86 degrees and then cool down for the weekend because it's football. It's football again. This is perfect. I love everything about this. We get football weather. Nice, glorious fall days all the way around. Sign me up. I'm here for it all. I am here for it all. It's a beautiful place.
Look, I love the sun.
Yeah.
It is my favorite thing.
Uh-huh.
But I need ample change. Like,
I don't need
when we go away from the sun.
Yeah.
I need the sun to be away.
Yeah, our 4 months of just gray is coming. So let's just fight it off. Let's just fight it off for as long as we can. All right? We're just going to fight this thing off. We're going to hold it off for as long as we possibly can, and then we'll accept our gray overlords come November. We happy with late October, November? We good with that? Agreed?
I'm okay with it.
I think that's
Agreed?
fair. Yeah.
Agreed?
That's
Agreed?
fair.
All right. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to be out here complaining about nice weather. All right. I'm going to hold on to this. I'm just going to say, yes, love the nice weather. Love the sunshine. All right. It is Football Friday, so I figured today would be a good day to bring back the mustache. Mustache is back, guys.
I was wondering what was going on here.
Stash is back. Yep. Football Friday just feels like the right thing to do. It feels manly. Football's manly. I like football. I like guys who like football. Guys who like football like me. I feel like Jim Harbaugh needs a mustache too.
I have a terrible mustache. I look like a conquistador.
That's not true anymore. It's not a fair judgment. It's not fair. It's not a fair drop anymore. We need to change that legal ID. Is it a great mustache? No, it's not. I'm here and openly admitting. I'm no Tom Selleck, okay? I'm no Ron Swanson. But I have graduated from conquistador mustache. I turned 39 years old and I was able to grow a mustache. Now 40, watch out. 40 is going to be great for my stash. It's going to look fantastic. It's going to be, I'm not going to call it a strong mustache. It's going to be serviceable. It's going to be a serviceable mustache. All right? I'm a backup quarterback with my stash. Can win you a game or two. Don't rely on it. I can win you a game. The stash will win you a game. Especially give it a little time to season a little bit more. Let it come in a little bit more. It'll be okay. It'll be a serviceable mustache. But I'm back. It's the first time I've actually went straight razor on my face in a long.
You went clean razor.
I think it's been over a year since I've gone
You're electric boy normally, right?
Yeah, I just trim it.
Yeah.
Just trim the stubble.
Yeah.
I've embraced stubble life, and I'm okay with that.
No,
I like that.
Sir, we work on the radio.
Yeah. But now I went straight razor, and I'm a mustache man.
I like it.
Thank you. Do I feel more authoritative?
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely. The power comes directly from your mustache.
Yeah, it does. It really does. It's where I harness my energy from, and I am. It's really bad. It's really bad. Reason why we're going stash too. We have the receivers at Banks High School. They're all going stash.
They all going stash?
It's bad.
Yeah.
We got some dirty stashes.
Look, there's two guys in a high school who can actually grow facial
hair.
hair.
We're going to embrace the griminess.
I like it.
Right? You got to be a little bit more gritty.
I remember my first deployment
stash,
and it was bad.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Now I'm fully mustachioed. But
there you go.
It was.
Embrace that griminess. You got to be grimy.
I told my wife this morning that her hair looked great, and then I put my finger on her lip.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Wait. What'd you do? What?
Yeah, I was trolling her.
Apparently.
You gave her the shush?
No. I brushed her lip. She doesn't have any hair on her lip.
How are you here?
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I broke her this morning. It was great.
How did you not get run over by a car?
The look that she gave me was mwah!
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Wow.
That's our love language, is giving each other hell.
Oh, Yeah, that's a bold move, Cotton.
I thought so.
See how this one plays out. Your stuff is going to be in your front lawn where that homeless guy was sleeping when you get home.
Yeah,
I guarantee it.
no,
But it's okay. You're 4 blocks from somewhere to
everywhere.
stay.
Yeah, no, I'll be fine. No, she was giving me help because I along with my hair, I have not trimmed my goatee. So it's Billy Goatin.
Yeah.
And it's gonna continue to go.
Vancouver Ford text sign 503-864-6326. We have a texter who's offering some round glasses and a plaid shirt to go with my mustache if I want to complete the whole serial killer vibe.
Yeah, you can pull off a little Green River Killer. I can see it.
Yeah, they're not really round glasses. They're like more the Kip glasses from Napoleon Dynamite.
The Dahmer glasses.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go there.
Yeah.
I'm not eating anybody, all right? I'm not eating anybody. You don't want to get that caught up in your mustache, right? I mean.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem there. That's the problem there. All right. So we're rocking and rolling. We got this. I had a big moment in my home. My son is gold chain guy now.
Oh.
Oh.
Getting one of those Jackson chains?
No. So
he decided he'd be greasy right alongside you, but he can't grow the stash yet.
He calls it his drip. My son's 7. He calls it his drip. And he has a couple buddies who got like the little gold chains, right? And he was like, after his flag football game last weekend, he was like, I want a gold chain. And my wife goes, buddy, no.
No.
Yeah, first of all, you're gonna lose that.
Yeah.
I mean, in an instant. We know what's coming. You are gonna lose this chain. And he was like, nope, I want a chain. I want to have some drip. So after school, he and his sister were at home, and he made his own. She had like an old necklace, and he was like, nope, gonna accessorize this. It was like a seashell. He got out the hot glue gun, put some like gems on the seashell on this silver chain, and was like, yep. And he was rocking it. Like he thought it was like it.
That might be the first ever bedazzled puka shell necklace.
It was seashell. It wasn't. We're not gonna give that puka. It was a seashell necklace on like a silver, like big old chain. Like I don't even know where he got the chain from. I don't know. I did not know my daughter had this. So he goes to his football practice wearing that this week. These are the things that happens when dad is gone.
Yeah.
He goes wearing that, and one of his buddies who has a chain, he went home. Big shout out to his buddy Jones, and so we like when Bennett got home, we were like, okay, we can't have this happening. We got to order him the gold chain. You can get those things for like $10 now on Amazon.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I mean they're really cheap.
Are they going to turn your neck green?
Probably.
Yeah.
But we get him the chain, and we order because he's a big LeBron stan. We've gone over this. Number 23 every sport he plays.
Yeah.
We get him that. His buddy Jones went home, and he convinced his parents to buy Bennett the gold chain number 23 as well. Yesterday, Amazon shows up 2 packages, the gold chain 23 on our doorstep.
Oh.
Son is now rocking a gold chain, calls it his drip, and I think we've unlocked my son is an accessory guy. And
I respect it.
I know this life. You know this life.
Mm-hmm.
We both were early or late 90s, early 2000s guys that had our ears pierced.
Yep.
And we were about that life.
I had the silver chain with my number on it.
We're going down that road very quickly.
Yeah.
And he's ahead of the curve.
Yeah, I think I was
calls
8,
it his drip.
I think I was 8 when I got mine pierced.
You 8?
Yeah.
You were 8 years old when you got your ears pierced?
8 or 10. It was one or the other. I can't remember.
Jeez.
Yeah, one of the neighbor kids. Is he 3rd grade maybe? He's got his pierced.
I made a deal. I had to ask my parents what it was. I had to do something. It was like over a couple months. To do it, and they were like, "He won't do it." And then they like, you know me. You tell me I can't do something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
dig
do
in
it
the
out
heels.
I'm gonna dig in my heels and do it out of spite.
Look, my parents just got divorced, and that's what. I was like, 12, and I was with my dad, and I was like, I want to get the ear pierced. He's like, yeah, whatever. Boom, got it. Showed up at home. My mom flipped, like she was not on board with that, and I was like, oh. Wait, so we can play this?
Yeah.
This is like a game that we get here, right? And they can play one off the other. Yeah, that was 8 is an aggressive. Well,
you remember I was 2 years younger than everybody else in my class too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Look at this.
Yeah.
My 8-year-old son got his ears pierced for his birthday. Yeah, I just think that's you got to convince the parents on that one.
No, which is weird because my parents aren't like wildly conservative, but like they looking back at it, I'm actually kind of surprised they did that.
Yeah, I went like my 7 and 8-year-old was. I got the steps in my hair.
Oh,
I
there you
convinced
go.
to
Yeah,
get. I convinced to get the steps in my hair. I got a kick-ass like first grade school picture where I'm wearing the Bill Cosby sweater.
Oh yeah.
Not really as
black with the
great now.
Fluorescent stripes.
Yeah, I had the stripes and I had steps in my hair. And when they did the smile 1, 2, 3, tilted my head to the side because I wanted the steps.
Nice
in the school picture. So I'm Cosby sweatered up with the steps in my hair. That was what I was able to convince when I was 7 and 8. I couldn't get the earring.
Steps. I did the lightning bolt. I did the lightning
bolt.
Yeah,
I had the lightning bolt, but it was still it was still a very 90s. It's a very 90s picture. Like my hair's like spiked up. I got the steps in. It's fantastic. It does not beat my brother though. My brother got a mullet one year. And family photo, like whole family photo, went full on to the side. So he had his mullet just
the Kentucky
flowing.
waterfall. Oh, yeah.
Like it was down to his shoulders. And he had mullet. And just like the family picture, he is head to the side. Just
in all its graces.
Bombing. Yeah, dude.
YouTube comments, Joel asking, did Dusty do the same thing McVay did for his beard and get the PRP injections?
No. Though I am still patchy in the beard, I might want to get the little PRP. It's a summer beard, summer here, summer there. It's a little bit everywhere.
I don't know why. The second you said McVay, my head immediately went to Timothy for some reason.
Oh,
is it because of the creepy mustache?
Well, it was Danny talking about it too.
No. Didn't he have a patchy? Didn't he have a patchy beard? Or was he clean shaven?
Who, McVay?
McVay,
Yeah.
he had a little bit of a stash and a
he had
flat top.
Yeah,
if
that's
I'm
what it was.
Correct.
The Weasley mustache.
Yeah, he had the Weasley mustache.
But otherwise, he kept the military vibe.
Well, now we're getting them all in here. Like Vancouver Ford text line. Lightning bolt and hammer pants was my 7-8 look. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Hammer time. That was a hell of a time to be alive. Hammer pants, Zubas. Wore Zubas everywhere.
The Brian Bosworth.
Yeah. Dude, I had a Wizard of Oz poster in my room. He was on a lot of steroids when you look back at that picture.
All of them. And not like the good ones. Like he was one of those guys that was taking like the actual horse steroids.
Yeah, he was on Diana Ball.
Yeah.
Like he was on cattle steroids. He's probably on beaver tranquilizers.
Yeah, not the synthetic like good stuff. Like he was just on like the
damn it, Bernice.
Just getting huge. Speaking of mustaches, Bernice.
Oh yeah. And yeah.
You're a few steps above Bernice.
Yeah. Go ahead and do that. Go ahead, Google it's the Land of Boz. Google the Land of Boz poster. I had that in my room. And I was like, yeah, he's an animal. Work hard. I could one day look like that. You can work your entire life. You ain't going to look like Brian Bosworth did.
No.
That dude.
Also, the little kid there is it's like Baby Gronk.
Like the actual Baby Gronk, not like, the kid whose social media, it looks just like Baby Gronk. You're right. You're right. And that's probably a dad who's going to put his kids on roids. That dad is something else, man.
Thank God that kid went away.
Has he?
I mean, it's not like in the cultural zeitgeist anymore because we all went, oh, that's just an absolute dumpster fire.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't embrace this dad who's exploiting his child. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't do that. Oh, yep. Puka shells and frosted tips, my boys. My boy bands back in the days. Yeah, it was a hell of a time to be alive. And this is why This circles back to our conversation yesterday. We just don't get it now. Our parents are saying the same thing.
Yeah.
When they were looking at us going, what are you doing? What are you doing? Well, we're here now. All right. Let's get this Football Friday on the road, huh? I told you guys, last night's game wasn't going to be pretty.
No.
It was. It was not. The Jets fly high behind vintage Rodgers next on The Fan.
Hello.
I love guys who like football.
Thursday Night Football started week 3 in the National Football League with the New York Jets absolutely throttling the New England Patriots 24-3.
Was not close, Bob.
On Amazon Prime. No, it was never close. There was a minute 59 to go in the first half, and Jacoby Brissett of the New England Patriots had -1 yard passing.
Yeesh.
I was way off.
Actually threw for 24 yards, and then NFL doing the right thing, adjusting these sack yards to your passing yards. He had been sacked for 25-yard loss.
Yeah.
So it's -1 yards.
Tough.
With under 2 minutes to go in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
It was a butt-whooping of epic proportions, but it wasn't about anything that the New England Patriots did. It was everything Aaron Rodgers did. He looked like they turned back the clock on old Aaron Rodgers there last night.
Yeah, no, there was zip in his arm again, and whether it was, just even mild throws to the outside with, getting leverage on the edges, the ball was there quick, fast, and in a hurry, and there was a couple times when he stayed in the pocket and danced around and really drove, extended the play, got going with his legs. There was just it looked like vintage Aaron Rodgers. And regardless of how he looked in week 1, I think you almost have to throw that performance out after watching him this week.
That's why everything is so reactionary and dumb through the first 2 weeks of the season, because the water will find its level. And everybody wants to overreact to anything that happens in week 1 or week 2, but it's a 17-week season, and we are seeing the ramp up of the NFL has now trickled more so than ever into those first 2 weeks of the regular season, with the limitations that they have in the offseason, whether it is shortening how many preseason games they have, limiting the amounts of practices that you can have, and contacts with the team and players over the offseason. And look, we have more player movement across the NFL in a league that always has player movement on the periphery, but we've had big-time player movement, right? Those guys changing cities and changing franchises left and right. It's going to take a little bit more time when you think of the process of becoming a complete team. And Aaron Rodgers coming back after missing a year of an Achilles injury, that was a big question.
Years old.
Will he be able to move?
Yeah.
And is he as mobile as he was, 5 years ago? No. And because he's 40. But at the same time, you saw Rodgers, what he has between the ears in the ability to feel pressure and move. You don't have to be Aaron Rodgers of 2018.
No.
You can be Aaron Rodgers now with limited mobility and still create, because he has seen everything the NFL can throw at you. And he looked crisp. You saw those off-platform throws that we've become accustomed to seeing, where he looked a little bit hesitant throughout the first 2 games of the year. Well, but he looked like he was comfortable doing it this week.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is you take a look at the weapons they have, and I think there was a lot of talk about, obviously, Breece Hall and how effective he was going to be with everything, but Braylon Allen kind of coming out of nowhere and being Aaron Rodgers' a safety blanket. Not only running the ball, but out of the backfield. It seems like he's the guy that they're going to over and over and over again, and a lot of that has to do with the fact of the attention and coverage that Garrett Wilson's getting on the outside, and Aaron Rodgers talked about it in the postgame, like what exactly he's seeing with
it was that awkward exchange between Robert.
The entire focus of all 3 defenses we played have been taking Garrett away. It's been Mel Kiper's worst nightmare. Been a lot of cover 2, And when there's times we get 1 high, we've tried to go to him, but a lot of 2 high in all 3 games. They're shading to him. Even with, stud corners, you look at Ward in week 1 and Snead, thank you, in week 2, and then Gonzalez in week 3 now. Not a lot of singles. So that's a tribute to Garrett and his talent.
And that's the Jets are trying to figure out how exactly to keep these drives going when Wilson is supposed to be the guy that take the coverage off the top or demand everything else. It's the other guys that have to step up. And Mike Williams, after being basically MIA for the first 2 weeks, he shows up and has some big plays. You have Breece Hall, who is still effective, but Braylon has been huge for them. It seemed like every third down they were going to him one way or the other.
No, it was him or Conklin, because Breece Hall also had, he had more receiving yards than Allen did, but it was Hall, Allen, Conklin. Those are your safety valves.
Yep.
And when a team is going to play cover 2, when they're going to cap you on the back end, that is how you beat them. And you look at where Conklin was getting his targets, right? If it wasn't the short underneath where you're holding a flat defender, you're holding the depth and the hook to curl, right? You're going to have the running back out who's going to find a soft spot, sit in it. The other spot is in cover 2, where you have the corner playing a flat defender or an outside backer if you roll the corner deep. And if you have that outside backer playing in that flat, well, you have something short to hold them, and then the tight end just kind of leaks into the soft spot in the defense. You push them vertically, you hold them short, and then boom, there's a soft spot, the whole shot for your tight end, where either he runs a seam or he runs a big bender, an over route. You find that soft spot right there. And tight ends, Brock Bowers, tight ends are going to become even more valuable. And then your running backs. And look, we've all been wondering, this is like where Travis Kelce is.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Travis Kelce? Well, he's the tight end you're going to pay the most attention to. Who's been feasting? It's been backs out. It's been Noah Gray. They'll go in 12 personnel where you have one back and two tight ends. And so they're going to take Travis Kelce away. Travis Kelce's going to get open because teams are going to say, all right, we can't just keep getting nickel and dimed and torched here. And so we have to keep you honest. Travis Kelce will be fine. Mm-hmm. They will get him open as defenses pay less and less attention to him over the course of the year. We saw this last year too, with Kansas City especially. But as it pertains to the Jets and Aaron Rodgers, you're now seeing they have settled in. I think a lot of other quarterbacks after the first 2 weeks are also going to settle in as to what defenses are taking away and how to get more comfortable. You have to think of like the quarterback play that what we've seen over the NFL the last handful of years. You've been going the natural progression of short to deep has been flipped on its head. It was deep and then you come back short and you check down. With the way that defenses are attacking, what Rodgers and the Jets did last night was, we're not going to go deep. We're going to go back to the traditional. We're going to go short, and then we're going to work our way down the field again.
And you can see that in the drive charts. I mean,
it was
7 plays, 27 yards, 8 plays, 73 yards, 13 plays, 91 yards, 12 plays, 49 yards, 11 plays, 66 yards. I mean, you're just talking about deep, long drives that are just eating the clock.
And that is really difficult to do. And I think that to me was the most impressive part about what Aaron Rodgers did last night was the length of those drives in the National Football League. That's your quarterback just getting the ball out and having a mastery of what you're trying to do. And we saw Allen Lazard had another big game. You saw the throw to Garrett Wilson to get that touchdown. I mean, Rodgers was on one last night.
And the Patriots were trying to switch it up. I mean, because, as you mentioned, Aaron's seen everything. You have to have, like, post-snap. You can't show exactly what you want to do pre-snap. You have to mix it up. And I think there was maybe twice all game where Rodgers was mildly caught off guard. But otherwise, he just seemed to know what New England was doing every single time, and they had an answer for it. And it was fun and interesting to watch somebody with a mastery just kind of go, okay. We're just going to do this. This is fine.
On the flip side, the much maligned New York Jets defense
looked pretty good.
Yeah.
And now that offense is really bad.
Yeah.
Because their defense did. The pass rush was finally there.
Here's the thing. Ramondre Stevenson is the Patriots offense right now. And I've been trying to say this for the longest time. The Patriots offensive line was terrible last year, and they got worse when they lost Trent Brown. Like, they're really stinking bad. But I wasn't expecting to see what we did. But those are the kind of games that can wake up a defense in New York. And is that what we saw, or are the Patriots just that bad? After Russ with SportsCenter.
This is a Football Friday edition of Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by the Odyssey app.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Crunch Fitness. Memberships as low as $9.99 per month. Find your Crunch time in Portland, Vancouver, and online at crunch.com. First on the Fan, the 9th-ranked Oregon Ducks idle this week before starting Big Ten play next weekend at UCLA. Oregon State, though, hosting a Big Ten opponent of their own. The Purdue Boilermakers hitting Reser Stadium. The Beavers are 4.5-point favorites, 5:30 kick on the CW. Washington State looking to start their season 4-0, hosting San Jose State tonight. 7 o'clock kick on the CW. The Cougars are 13-point favorites. A couple other good ranked matchups this weekend. Number 12 Utah, number 14 Oklahoma State at 1 o'clock on Fox and over on 910 ESPN Portland. And the 6th-ranked Tennessee Volunteers at number 15 Oklahoma. That's 4:30 on ABC and also right here on The Fan. Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert did not practice today, and it's questionable Sunday at the Steelers. He's been limited in practice this week due to a high ankle sprain. And Packers quarterback Jordan Love questionable Sunday against the Titans with a knee injury. Only 9 games remain in the regular season for the Mariners. Their best shot at the postseason via the wild card. Twins and Tigers currently tied for the final spot with the M's 2 games back. Seattle on the road now, starting with 3 at Texas. George Kirby getting the start for the Mariners. Jacob deGrom for the Rangers. 5:05 first pitch on Root Sports. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Got a smart speaker? It's the Fan in your office and every room of your home. Tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Summer is here. Time to prepare for the
walks down the street, he says, why am I soft in the middle now? Why am I soft in the middle of the rest of
At the heart of the Jets' 24-3 beatdown of the New England Patriots last night on Thursday Night Football, Aaron Rodgers taking all the headlines, but the defense for the Jets looked outstanding. And the Patriots are bad offensively. Very bad.
Yes, there's not a redemptive quality about them.
Ramondre Stevenson is redemptive. He is.
Okay.
I mean, he is. You run behind that offensive line, but finds a way to get yards. They are dreadful up front. The Patriots are. But what we saw last night was a Jets defense actually manhandle in Quinnen Williams, Sauce Gardner. Those guys looked
Will McDonald
phenomenal last night. And it was a clinic up front. I mean, Will McDonald, he looked good. I mean, problems tackling. He had a bunch of missed tackles. But at the same time, everything else, he was in the right position, and the rest of the defense did their jobs, and the Patriots could not move the football. They allowed 7 sacks last night.
Stuff.
That is absolutely...
Shout out Drake May for contributing to that. Got his welcome to the NFL.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Drake May. I mean, everybody wants to see Drake May. No, you don't.
No.
I've been saying this. You don't want to see him behind that offensive line.
You're going to get him killed.
And you're
paying. Jacoby Brissett is getting the money to get killed.
You're gonna Bryce Young him, where you're gonna break his confidence too, and he'll be a broken football player.
I mean, he's a foot taller and 50 pounds heavier, but
you don't want that.
But you don't want that.
You do not want that one bit. But I think that saying how bad the Patriots' offensive line is does diminish how good New York looked on defense last night, and those can be kind of springboard performances where it's like, we all know this, whether it's like with your golf swing, or if you ever shot a basketball and had somebody like tweak something, you're like, oh, that's what it feels like. You can have those aha moments as a unit on the defensive side of the football. I mean, we'll see if it can carry over to a team that isn't as bad as the New England Patriots, which also makes the Bengals game the most confusing game in NFL history.
Yeah, I mean, you take a look at. I think that game was a combination of all of the Bengals stuff coming out of camp, Joe Burrow wrist, and just beginning of the season. But as it pertains to the Jets, we talked about this the other day. You mentioned, hey, the Jets could come out of this. They get a bye week, and then the Broncos, and it's like they could be 4-1 pretty damn quick.
Yeah, well, they'll be 3-1.
I'm sorry, 3-1.
3-1 there, and Denver with their offensive line issues that they got too,
and complete lack of offense. Like, that's a match made in heaven for the Jets.
And that's where you start, the hype train kind of gets out of control. They may be humbled when they play the Minnesota Vikings, but who knows what the Vikings look like in 2 weeks too.
Who's healthy? Justin Jefferson healthy? Is Jordan Addison healthy?
I also think there is something to be said about the Jets' start to the season. That was their 3rd game in 10 days. They played Monday night to start the season, Sunday, and then Thursday.
And then a short week.
You get that brutal stretch out of the way, and now you can kind of settle in a little bit.
But also, does playing 3 games in quick succession like that, does that aid in like getting units to come together? Because you're having those quicker opportunities to kind of like lean into it.
And you're doing it at the beginning of the season as opposed to the end of the season when you're beat to hell and having to do that. Yeah, I think with the way the AFC East is looking, there is hope and optimism for Jets fans now.
I mean, it's Jets and Bills.
Because without Tua, what are the Miami Dolphins going to be?
Nothing.
It's going to be the major question mark moving forward. What do they do at quarterback? I mean, they go and they sign Snoop Huntley, Pro Bowler Tyler Huntley. Remember that year?
Look, it's on the resume.
Remember that year?
It's on the resume.
He was a Pro Bowl quarterback, Tyler Huntley.
Hey, he got the bonus for it.
And you have Skylar Thompson, which...
Both of those guys' names.
Tyreek Hill meltdown in 3, 2, 1.
Look, Tyler Huntley and Skylar Thompson sound like players in the NBA on 10-day contracts.
Yeah. They do.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Well, I think we're kind of skewed to Skylar Mays.
Yeah.
Here in Portland.
Sure, but I mean, like, doesn't it sound like, yeah. Those sound like guys that the Blazers added to the tank for the last month of the season.
I mean, in Tyler Huntley, it sounds like a 6'9" white power forward from Butler.
Sure.
that you signed. You're like, hey, he's a body.
Yeah.
He's a body. Yeah. That's a great
he
analogy right there.
And that's about it. He's kind of like new age, slower footed Luke Babbitt. Like if I told you went to Creighton, would you believe it?
Yeah, I would. I would 100% believe that.
Plays alongside Ryan Kalkbrenner.
Yeah. And here's a text here on the Vancouver Ford text line, 503-864-6326. Says, Pat's O-line ranked 13th in last season per Pro Football Focus. Terrible? Yeah, they were. They were.
Yeah, PFF grades with stuff is always kind of like,
Well, it's because
you have to understand scheme.
The scheme, and then they do. I mean but I watched them pass block last year, and it was not good. I think overall they were 13th. I would love to go back and I'll check the Pro Football Focus on their offensive line in their pass blocking, because that is where they were brutal last year. As a unit, they were not good at all pass blocking, and that was with Trent Brown. So we'll see what they are this year.
New England Patriots last year were 29th
in pass blocking.
Yes, according to BFF.
Yeah, there you go. So they're really good in their run blocking because, I don't know, again,
they were 12th in run blocking.
Ramondre Stevenson, really good.
Yeah. So they were
really good.
They were 12th in run block. So 29th and 12th, that's probably closer to 20th.
Yeah.
In the NFL in offensive line play.
That's not good.
It's bottom third.
They were really bad.
Yeah.
really, really bad. But good little win for the Jets. And not a great game to watch on Thursday night. Aaron Rodgers, though, I think that is the biggest thing right there. I think it may be the signal for what we're going to see the upper echelon of quarterbacks in the NFL do moving forward. He was getting the ball out quick. He was creating space on a
bunch of check down Charlies, huh?
But you know what? 275
Which
yards,
is hilarious
baby.
Because what did you and I grow up with at quarterback?
Well, we grew up with a lot of those check down guys because they were running West Coast offenses.
Yeah. It's like, guys, that's what offense was for 25 years.
Yeah, man, it was pretty cool. All right, 503-864-6326. That'd be the Vancouver Ford text line. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. Visit them online at vancouverford.com. All right, we just got this across the line. Want to hit on this really quick before we move on to all of the comings of college football and the NFL weeks. The injuries that have been piling up, there's more, and boy, there's a line that may look a little bit more tasty after this injury. Next on The Fan.
every day and every night.
How are we feeling about the Minnesota Vikings being 2-point dogs at home to the Houston Texans?
Interesting.
How are we feeling about the Minnesota Vikings being 2-point dogs at home now that Joe Mixon has been listed as doubtful for Sunday's matchup in Minnesota?
Less interested.
Huh?
Yeah, I remember Mixon was advocating, and probably rightly so, for the hip drop tackle, which still has not been called through 2 weeks, and there's probably been 3 of them.
Yeah.
Now, no, a single ref has not thrown a flag on it yet, and it's because they need 7 different things to happen.
It's crazy.
But if you were going to say that because of the tuck and roll portion of the hip drop tackle, Mixon did get tucked and rolled up on, which is why he's going to be out of this game, because he got his ankle rolled up on.
Well, so is their backup running back, Dameon Pierce. Dameon Pierce has been listed as out for this game. So the Houston Texans still okay with their weapons. They still have C.J. Stroud, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, Dalton Schultz. All pretty good. But without the balance, and that was the most impressive part about that game that we saw play out Sunday night or against the Chicago Bears, was the balance that they have with Joe Mixon, and we're seeing it in Cincinnati too, and Dameon Pierce, like that. Those guys are really Mixon. This comes down to Joe Mixon.
Mm-hmm.
Because Pierce wasn't in that game. I think he got hurt against Indy in week 1. But Joe Mixon is a guy that the balance that he creates because of his ability as a pass catcher, because of his vision and ability to create extra yards. I mean, it kind of looks more tasty with Minnesota minus or +2, especially when you see that. What do you see? We didn't play the audio of Brock Purdy because it was kind of hard to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what Brock Purdy said to Flores after the game?
No.
He said, "You guys had us confused like all game." He went up to Brian Flores and said that after the Vikings dismantled this 49ers. Brian Flores is a good defensive coordinator. Terrible head coach apparently.
Yeah.
But really good defensive coordinator.
I was talking to a buddy of mine who covers the Niners, and one of the things he said was like, if the Niners can't, if everything goes wrong and that's the way you come out of a game, you lose by one score to the Vikings, then I guess that's okay. And I was like, yeah, but you kind of got your ass handed to you for the whole game. It wasn't just like, oh, the Vikings figured like this little thing out. It's like, no, they beat double coverage over the top with a great throw. And they got to Brock Purdy and bothered him and flustered him and made him hold the ball. It's like, well, they didn't have McCaffrey. I'm like, oh, because you didn't have one of your 5 All-Pros? My bad. Like, this is what we're doing? Because the Vikings didn't have Jordan Addison.
No.
So
no, they didn't.
And they won't again this week.
Yeah. And it's like, and I mean, Jefferson's questionable, right?
Yeah.
I think I saw not listed on the injury report.
Okay, so he got cleared.
Play.
Okay.
He's going to play.
But he's dinged up. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, so it's like, maybe Niners, you shouldn't be worried, but maybe the Vikings are actually pretty damn good.
Yeah, they are pretty damn good. And Kevin O'Connell dials up an offense, plays to the strengths of Sam Darnold, which people were thinking he did not have strengths. Turns out, still's got it. Still got a little bit of it.
Yeah, it turns out when you can keep him clean and he doesn't see ghosts.
Jim Harbaugh, he was really high on Justin Herbert being back and available for this week. He's been listed as questionable. Not Justin Herbert, not Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh's a go. I think
John Harbaugh, he might be dinged up. He tried to play pass rusher today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's not a good.
Yeah,
you're getting too old for that game.
He said he needed to see. He thought his team needed to see a little speed on the edge, so he played Micah Parsons.
Well, seeing Micah Parsons play last week,
John Harbaugh might be able to do that.
Might be a decent comp. But Herbert is questionable, which means he's 50-50, and that is high ankle sprain on his right ankle. They're saying it's a pain tolerance thing. Well, all that means to anybody that's out there against Pittsburgh, we'll see if the Toradol works, and Justin Herbert will either play or not play. But that is, you look at Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh could start the nastiest, grimiest, ugliest 3-0.
And it'll all be fake.
Well,
but it's still 3-0.
3-0 in the NFL. You don't apologize for wins.
No, but they will have to apologize for the wins that they stack up when they lose like 6 in a row at the end of the season.
But as they start 3-0 and the Bengals are still figuring stuff out, and
but they'll be
Higgins with the hamstring,
and they'll be above 500 yet again.
You sit there and you go, now the Bengals are going to have to be playing catch up for the entire season, and that's exactly why Pittsburgh builds their roster the way they do. I mean,
it's almost attrition
crazy
because if you have no offense to begin with, you don't have to worry about losing your offense.
Dang. That's a good point.
I mean, what happened last year?
That's a good point.
They fell apart because what were they missing? Their defense and TJ Watt.
And an offense too.
But I mean, they never had one to begin with.
It was boltsies.
That's what I mean. Like you almost make yourself kind of attrition proof if you don't if your offense sucks no matter what. It's like as long as your defense is healthy, you've got a puncher's chance.
It's an uppercut,
right? They hit you in the mouth defensively. It's what they do. But like offensively, they suck. Like it's not good. It's like watching that game last week. I was like, "Oh my god, what the hell is this?" Like, see, Justin Fields just needed to get out of Chicago. I'm like, to do what?
Win games. I don't know if you saw Caleb Williams, but it wasn't like his pocket was clean.
No.
So, I mean, guys can win games in the NFL with a decent offensive line. You can.
Turns out.
It's a crazy concept here. Crazy concept here. I thought it was interesting, though. Who does Colin have on? The guy who breaks it down every week? Gosh, I'm just spacing on his name right
Cosell?
now. Yep. Greg Cosell came on. And he broke down the Caleb Williams is a lot of the reason is, one, his offensive line not very good, but he's doing what he did at USC.
Hold it too long.
And not when he tries to create, it's going to be like Baker Mayfield in Cleveland. Remember when Baker Mayfield was in Cleveland and after 2 weeks, teams just took away his spin out?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're going to do with Caleb Williams because he doesn't feel where the pocket has movement.
Mm-hmm.
And he holds onto the ball and he just goes to his escape, which is, the center field turn and rollout. NFL edge rushers are so damn good,
and they're so athletic that they'll just find a way to. They'll lure you into it.
He's got to clean that up too. Yep. So there's two parts right there.
I'm scrolling,
but at least without DeForest Buckner this week, he'll have a chance to survive.
I'm just cursory scroll.
Yeah.
Through the top 50 now. There we go. The very first Chicago Bears offensive lineman is ranked 55th in pass pro.
All right.
According to PFF.
Out of 167.
Yeah. And even then, his overall grade is a 62.3, which puts him in the bottom third because his run blocking is atrocious.
All right.
But yeah, I was just kind of like, I wonder where Chicago kind of rates in all this.
Not great, Bob.
It's atrocious.
Not great, Bob.
Very bad.
Not great, Bob. All right, let's get to our number 2 here. Let's start in the world of college football. This may be one of the biggest line swings that we've seen in quite some time for a college football game. And it has to do a lot with a little bit of the subterfuge that maybe the Chargers are going with Justin Herbert. Danny and Dusty on the Fan.
Hey,
Hour number 2, Danny and Dusty with you on this Football Friday. I love it. Thanks to everybody partying on YouTube, youtube.com/1080am The Fan, and twitch.tv/1080am The Fan. Also, thanks for listening. AM 1080, 99.5 HD2, and the Odyssey app. You can take in the show everywhere. And Jeff Russ puts the podcast up right there in the Odyssey app. You can just go boop.
Boop.
Anything you want right there. All right, hour number 2. Let's go to a little college foosball. Yesterday, we talked a little bit about Cam Rising and his return. Vegas isn't buying it. Vegas is saying, not so fast, my friend. The betting line swung 5 points in one day in most sports books. And right now, it is all over the place as we have a top 25 matchup between the number 12 Utah Utes and the number 14 Oklahoma State Cowboys tomorrow in Stillwater. Wednesday night, Utah was a 2.5-point favorite. Thursday night, Oklahoma State was a 2.5-point favorite. Now, depending on where you look, I went and checked all of the major books. It is split right down the middle as of right now. You can find Utah -1, Oklahoma State -1, in about half the books that are out there. That tells me Vegas isn't buying Utah starting Cam Rising this week.
They're also not buying Zach Wilson's little brother.
No.
Have you seen Isaac Wilson, the backup for Utah?
No.
He looks like a clone of Zach Wilson.
Well, is it
like
Zach Wilson's brother?
Yeah, no, it is.
No.
Yeah, no, he looks exactly like him.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
That's why.
Yeah.
It's Zach Wilson's brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, Corner Canyon High School.
Mm-hmm.
That's him. Brother Zach played at BYU.
It's just kind of.
I wouldn't either because I've seen Utah without Cam Rising.
It's not good, and then Cam Rising is what makes that offense go. And you can talk about all of the different weapons they have, and they have every year at Utah. But what makes the weapons viable is Cam Rising.
Yeah, I remember though last year, and this probably playing into it a lot. Do you remember the Willie won't he last year of Cam Rising, where Whittingham kept coming over the top and saying, yeah, we might see him, and that was like 5 weeks in a row, and it finally got squashed. Like,
he was trying to drag it out. I mean, I respect it,
and so that's exactly what we're seeing right here with Rising. The only difference here is that we had a receiver earlier, like on Monday or Tuesday, say Rising looked good, like he looked like he was fine, and then Whittingham was like, it's kind of trending that direction. But obviously, and this is what Vegas does. They find out.
They've got sources.
They got their moles everywhere, and they find out. And we saw a massive line change in that. Money came in heavy on Oklahoma State, and if Cam Rising doesn't play in that game, that loses all of its muster for me.
Oh God, yes.
I don't like Utah offense is unwatchable right now. And look, Wilson is a freshman, so we did take that into account. But we know how different they are when Cam Rising is
Money
back there.
Parks, Brant Keithy, Dorian Singer, the former Arizona / former USC, now Utah wide receiver. But it's hard. You're hard pressed to find like more capable weapons, I think, in most of college football. Now, the very top of college football, you find more, but like as far as like having a number one wide receiver, number one tight end, another deep threat, and then a multitude of running backs that Utah has every single year, they have dudes.
Yeah.
But what makes it all viable is Cam Rising's ability to make on the fly, to extend plays, to use his legs, to keep you guessing so that it's not even a trickeration kind of thing. It's not even just a matter of, dressing up the pig. He is just the engine that makes them go.
He's a gamer.
Yeah.
And he has seen, he's in his 7th year now, he's seen it all.
Yeah.
And he's a cool hand behind center, and he makes that offense tick. And it is so apparent when he is on the field. And look, it's incredible that, I know how bad Utah State is, and Utah State is really bad. But that game was closer than I mean, it would have been an absolute blowout.
I mean, they were
if
blowing
Rising played.
I mean, they're blowing their doors off, and then Rising leaves the game, and it was like, oh no.
I don't think he didn't play in that game, did he?
Oh, it was week 2 that he left. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he left against Baylor.
Yeah, but they were blowing their doors off, and then it got tight.
Yeah.
You saw exactly what happened.
And right now, I love Utah. I love Kyle Whittingham. I think he's the best coach in college football. I mean it. Because it's not the talent that he acquires, it's what he does with the players he has. And I don't know if there's a coach in college football that does more than Kyle Whittingham does with his guys. He squeezes every single ounce out of that roster every damn year. I mean, if you're looking at a coach and what the coach's responsibility is, like, first of all, recruit. But if you have Kalen DeBoer, he does it with a lot of talent. And I think Kalen DeBoer is one of the best coaches of squeezing talent out of guys. But he did it with an immense amount of talent up at Washington. He's doing it again at Alabama right now. But, we've seen him win games, do more with less at Fresno State and when he was the offensive coordinator at Indiana. These guys that recruit at a really high level and win at a really high level, they're not doing what Kyle Whittingham is even doing.
He's taking 2- and 3-star guys, or even no-star guys, and not only turning them into viable college football players. He's taking guys that are vastly underrated and turning them into NFL talent.
Yeah, his eye for talent and his evaluation of talent, he and his entire staff is second to none in college football. They do a phenomenal job.
It's the best. It's probably the best development staff in college football.
And look, Mike Gundy. He's got the mullet. He says some crazy ass.
He's a hell of a coach.
Drink thousands of beers and drive, like he said. He does a pretty damn good job of doing the exact same thing at Oklahoma State too. And that's why if Cam Rising is in the lineup, I'm in on that game.
Oh, this is a great game.
I'm in on that game 10 times out of 10. But Cam Rising, in his status being in flux, I might be a little out. What did your USC Trojans do? What? Do you see their tweet?
No, God, no.
Did you see their tweet?
No. What now?
They were heading out to Michigan for their game, and USC tweeted, "The Trojans are headed to Big Ten country," with a video of their team playing. They are Big Ten country. They are in the Big Ten. Literally, LA is Big Ten country now. Hopefully this is the only L USC takes this weekend, but it's not off to a great start, Danny.
Don't like it. Don't like it.
They forget that they left the Pac-12.
Well, I mean, I think you're heading into Big Ten country when you say that. Like, the only way I can say that is, like Ohio State, Penn State.
Don't do this.
Wisconsin.
Are you stupid or something?
The Big Ten is now from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean.
But also, when you say that, this is your first Big Ten road game.
But they are Big Ten country.
I'm just saying.
It's your first Big Ten game.
It's your first Big Ten game. It's your first Big Ten road game. So I'll as long as it's just this one time. This is the one time you can say that.
No, it's not.
It's the one time.
Can't even do it now. Yeah. Don't defend the indefensible here. They do head to Ann Arbor, though. We have a top 25 matchup in numbers alone. Michigan has had their warts, and we have seen offensively anemic is a very kind word to explain what they've done on the offensive side of the football. They've turned to Alex Orji at quarterback, and they hope that they can just pound the ball down USC's throat. On the flip side of this, like, everything in my brain and everything that I've seen has said USC has been really damn impressive in every phase. They through the first 2 games, they have looked the part on the defensive side of the football, and we know what Lincoln Riley does on offense. And the scary part, Zach Branch has not been a big focal point of their offense.
8 catches, 78 yards through 2 games. And the thing that I've heard multiple national college football folks say is that, look, is USC back, quote unquote? Unsure about that, but it's definitely their defense is the single most improved unit in the country. And I don't really think that's up for a debate, because they were, by most measures, one of the 3 worst defensive units in the country. Not like in the Pac-12 or in the Big Ten or no, in the country. They were that bad. And
they couldn't tackle.
And the biggest thing is, I can't remember who I was listening to highlighted this via just looking at the tape through the first 2 games. It's a simplification of what Danton Lynn has done, but the biggest thing has just been leverage to the ball. Where go back, the Oregon USC game last year is such a specific example that stands out. Is that how often was USC one-on-one defensively in space?
All game long.
All game long. And what they have done through 2 games and what they look stylistically is their leverage on the ball is significantly better. Mm-hmm. They are not in positions where it's not that that tackling is so much better. It is better. By every measure, it is better. Part of that is bringing in new personnel, but also defensively, they are set up in so much more sound in that there is always 2 guys at the bleeping ball.
Yep.
Always. And in the few instances, particularly against LSU where they wasn't, you had guys like Kamari Ramsey who were making fantastic one-on-one tackles on the edge, whether it was Mascarenas, whether it was Ramsey, whether it's Mason Cobb. Like, you just had guys making the make or break plays on third downs, where those third downs, they weren't just going for 4 yards or 5 yards and keeping drives going. They were back-breaking explosives that went for 20, 30, 40, or even touchdowns regularly against them.
I will be very interested to watch this game because we know what Michigan's going to try to do.
They're going to put them in a phone booth and try to beat the hell out of them.
And that has been a style that USC has not liked to play. They don't. That is something that they've been soft.
It's been 15 years.
They have been one of the softest teams in college football. They don't look like that through the first 2 weeks. They didn't coming out of the gate against LSU, and they sure as heck didn't against Utah State, which they just kind of beat the brakes off in week 2. They've had a little bit extra time to kind of shore things up. They had a bye last week before starting their Big Ten play and their Big Ten run.
And they don't get a day off for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt.
Them's the breaks.
Yeah.
But we know that they have improved up front on both sides of the football on their lines, and they've gotten so much better. But they lack depth.
Oh, God. One guy goes down. I mean, Jonah Monheim goes down at center. It's like, oh, no.
Well, on the defensive front is where I'm the most concerned. Is like, all right, if Michigan's game plan is we are going to lean on you, we are going to wear you down, we are going to play smash mouth football.
Can Bear Alexander and Anthony Lucas, can they play 70% of snaps?
Do you see the damn break?
Yeah.
In that's the only way Michigan wins this game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because I'm not worried.
On the edge and somebody doesn't follow their assignment because they're beat up, or it's a young kid that's out there, and all of a sudden.
Well, I'm not worried about USC's offense at all. I'm not worried about USC's offense at all. It is, can Michigan's defense keep them off the field?
Yeah.
Or Michigan's offense keep them off the field. That to me is where this game is won or lost, because USC will score. They will get their points. Michigan is a better defense than what they've seen even in the first 2 weeks, even with LSU. But their offense has been atrocious.
It's very bad.
Michigan's offense has been
one-dimensional.
So
is giving it probably one too many dimensions.
So, with that said, we'll find out. Do you know when the last time USC won in the Eastern or Central time zone?
Oh, 2013.
It was 2012.
There you go. Yeah.
2012 is the last time that USC has won in the Central or Eastern time zone. And like you may say, well, yeah, they've been in the Pac-12. It hasn't been that long. Well, they play Notre Dame on the road every other year.
Yep.
It's been a long, long time since USC has won back east. It was against Syracuse in 2012. They have 8 consecutive losses on the road in Central or Eastern time zones.
They like the sun, man.
They do.
They don't like Syracuse ain't warm.
Yeah.
No, South Bend ain't warm.
No. Well, it should be nice.
Should be nice, and
I mean, it's still early
yeah.
September in Ann Arbor. Should be all right.
Storm comes out of nowhere.
I don't think you'll get snow. You won't get snow. What's our weather looking like in Ann Arbor tomorrow?
Oh, actually, I think it was like 68 is when I last looked. I think it was decent.
Oh shoot, it's 84 degrees there right now.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be a high of 85 tomorrow.
Oh, it's clearing up now.
Yeah, high of 85, low of 57 tomorrow.
They're going to water that field.
They play on turf.
Was they have turf there?
Yeah, they do. So
how do I picture? Oh, I always have Notre Dame in my head.
Yeah, which also I believe has turf now.
They switched over to.
Yeah. But hey, things are looking up. Things are looking up for us.
Like I said, they win this game. I'm gonna come in here head to toe.
Well, no duh.
Yeah.
No duh. Yeah. It'll be an insufferable Monday.
It will be.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I have no beef against Michigan.
None.
Like Michigan was always like my alternate team that I always like because Charles Woodson's like my favorite non-USC college football player.
Hey, here's a spin on this. 3-0 in the last 3 games against Michigan. I mean, all of them have been Rose Bowls. So, but they've won the last 3 against Michigan. You have their number.
Yeah, but like I will pull for anyone when they're playing Ohio State. So I feel like I'm a natural Big Ten fan.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you're fitting right in. And your guys are heading to Big Ten country this weekend.
There we go for the first time.
All right, there's another game in the SEC top 25 matchup I'm pumped for. And I think one thing is not getting enough credence in this SEC top 25 tilt. Next on the Fan. College game day is going to be in Norman, Oklahoma tomorrow. Weird, Oklahoma is like the epicenter of great college football games this weekend. Both Oklahoma State and Oklahoma have top 25 tilts. But it's the 6th-ranked Tennessee Volunteers going into Norman, taking on number 15 Oklahoma. Tennessee has been insane to start this season.
You know, Nico's getting all of the press, but they're running for 300 yards a game.
They don't have their leading receivers, Dante Thornton, former Oregon Duck, who's the kind of their deep ball guy. But and they actually have Brew McCoy, I think, is their third leading receiver. So they've got 2 former Pac-12 guys on there, former Duck, former Trojan. But their rushing attack, Dylan Sampson and Deshaun Bishop, are just pounding the rock.
I mean, running for 8 and 10 yards per carry, respectively.
Yeah. This should not be a surprise to anybody, but Tennessee has won their last 18 consecutive games when they rush for over 200 yards. Pretty good. Run the ball.
I think there's a strong correlation there.
But the thing that's getting overlooked the most, it's not the fact that Tennessee runs the ball down your throat and they're efficient and they average an ungodly amount of yards per carry and yards per play. Their defense is nasty.
Flying around.
Since the AP poll era, so you go back to 1936, there's only been one other team with a better point differential than Tennessee through their first 3 weeks. They are plus 178 in point differential through the first 3 games. They've outscored their opponents like 191 to 13 or something like that. That's not 178, whatever that is. They have been punishing teams, and their defense has not allowed a touchdown.
No, and a big part of that is
all year.
They've got a linebacker who's a 7th-year linebacker, Keenan Peely. Have you watched the Tennessee much?
Yeah, I have.
He is number one. He's massive. He's like 6'4", 250. He's an enormous dude, but he also is a guy that gets them into everything.
Yep.
Because much like Cam Rising, he has seen everything.
They've outscored opponents 191 to 13 this season, and the only touchdown that they allowed against North Carolina State was a pick 6. And you go back,
it's not even their defense.
Yeah, it's not their defense hasn't allowed a touchdown this year. They've won 69-3 against Chattanooga, 51-10 against North Carolina State, 71-0 over Kent State. And if you take it back one more game, though, this is a trend that we've seen with Tennessee's defense over the last 4 games. If you go back to their final game last, they shut out their opponent in the bowl game too. They haven't allowed a defensive touchdown in 4 full games. Teams are only converting 15% of third downs against them.
Pretty good.
Tim Baker.
I still don't understand what all the hype is about.
Tim Baker, their defense coordinator, has done an unreal job.
Is that Orange Crush?
They have done that. Defense is way better than anybody gives them credit for.
And it's not like that Tennessee doesn't produce NFL dudes on that side of the ball.
No,
like they regularly are putting guys in the NFL up and down that defense. And I'm really interested in this game, Tennessee Oklahoma. Less so for Tennessee, because what Tennessee did to North Carolina State was like, that's the kind of thing that's forbidden.
Beating anybody as bad as they've beaten 3 opponents in a row is really hard to do.
And it's not like they're beating the Furmans of the world like Ole Miss has done. Like, again, I think Ole Miss is very good, but like NC State, look, ACC is crap. We all know it. It is what it is. But they're supposed to be a pretty good team.
Yeah.
They were supposed to be a pretty good team, and they demolished them. It wasn't like a little like, they ran away with it a little bit late. No, they put it on them early, often, and didn't stop.
Yep.
That's the kind of thing where you go, oh, this is a really, really good team.
Yeah.
I wonder, though, because I have no questions about Tennessee. I wonder how good Oklahoma is.
Yeah, and we're going to find out. About to find out. That game it's got a lot of hype. That one's going to fizzle out. That's why I'm more interested if Cam Rising plays in the other game in the state of Oklahoma, Utah and Oklahoma State, because of the fact that you have 2 really good teams.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma, if they get mopped,
it's not going to be a surprise, is it?
No, but Tennessee will be propped up by it because Oklahoma is a really good team. I mean, they are a really good team, but they're not like a college football playoff team in my mind.
No.
As of right now, I mean, I have no idea what to think of Oklahoma.
Well, I mean, Oklahoma's going to be tested. That's for damn sure because they have Tennessee and then they have the Red River rivalry, or Georgia. I'm sorry. Was it next week?
No. They go through the stretch of Tennessee at Auburn and then Texas in the Red River rivalry.
Yeah.
So they've got 2 of their next 3
vicious. We will know what
daunting.
Oklahoma is very quickly.
Well, and 3 of 5 because after Texas, you got South Carolina, then you go to Ole Miss. It's a
woof.
And
look, if Oklahoma's still standing with 1 loss at the end of that, they're for real.
But I don't think they are because they almost lost a Houston team.
Oh, yeah,
and look, one game isn't indicative of who you are,
Kentucky,
but
Georgia.
They almost lost to a Houston team that got waxed by UNLV. You know, the week before. Tulane gave them headaches at times. It was a comfortable win, 34-19. You're not apologizing for that. But Tulane gave them some headaches, which is not Willie Fritz's Tulane because he's now at Houston, which also gave you issues. So I expect Tennessee to go in there. And Oklahoma's never a big dog at home. They're a touchdown dog in Norman, which if you look back, since 1998, they've only been an underdog 5 times. This is the 6th time since 1998 they've been an underdog at home by any measure. And it's usually 1.5 points, 2.5, 3.5. First time since Texas Tech was a 7-point favorite in 1998. I mean, they don't see big lines in Norman because they've been really good
for a really long time.
And when good teams come there, see when Ohio State came there, that's the last time they were an underdog. 2016, JT Barrett, Ohio State went to Norman. That Ohio State team was really good. You know, the Sooners were really good. That was Baker Mayfield, right? Planting flag. Well, that was at Ohio State.
Yeah,
this one was at home. And they got waxed. I think they lost 45-24 to Ohio State in 2016. This is unfamiliar territory for the Sooners. Better get familiar with it because the SEC, you're going to get Bama coming. You're going to get Georgia. You're going to get they have to go on the road to Ole Miss. No, it isn't. You're not going to have Kansas State and Baylor being those plucky top 25 teams coming in.
Well, speaking of bad teams and bad teams in the Big 12 or in that region, the Cowboys got beat so bad the federal government declared a state of emergency.
Whoa.
That and more today on our Worst Day on the Web. But first, here's the Big Kahuna Sports Update.
You ever had a Big Kahuna burger?
This is a Football Friday edition of Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by the Odyssey app.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by PG Long Floor Covering, carpet, hardwood, or laminate, flooring, cleaning, or restoration. Call PG Long, your Northwest flooring experts, pglongllc.com. First on The Fan, the number 9 Oregon Ducks idle this week before starting Big Ten play next weekend at UCLA. Oregon State, though, hosting the Purdue Boilermakers tomorrow. The Beavers are 4.5-point favorites. It's a 5:30 kick on the CW. Washington State looking to go 4-0 tonight, hosting San Jose State. 7 o'clock kick on the CW. The Cougars are 13-point favorites. Some football for you this weekend out here on The Fan. And 9:10 ESPN Portland, number 12 Utah, number 14 Oklahoma State. That's at 1 o'clock on Fox, and a 9:10 ESPN Portland. And number 6 Tennessee at number 15 Oklahoma, 4:30 on ABC, and can also be heard right here on The Fan. Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert did not practice today and is questionable Sunday at the Steelers with a high ankle sprain. Seahawks running back Kenneth Walker III doubtful against the Dolphins with an oblique injury. You can catch that game here on The Fan on Sunday. Coverage starts at 11 a.m., kick at 1:05. And just 9 games remaining in the regular season for the Mariners. Twins and Tigers currently tied for the final wild card spot. The M's are 2 games back. Seattle hitting the road, starting with 3 at Texas. George Kirby on the hill opposite Jacob deGrom. 5:05 first pitch on Root Sports. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Jump back to earlier parts of your favorite fan shows on the Odyssey app. The only way to rewind Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan. It's time for today's worst day on the web. With Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
Oh, really? That sucks.
Call it fortuitous luck or just knowing how things were going to go. FEMA accidentally declared a major disaster for the state of Texas after the Saints-Cowboys game.
Okay.
And no, this is a real thing that happened this past week.
More.
FEMA says the email that it sent out declaring the state of emergency for a major disaster was meant to be for training purposes. But it happened quite literally right after the Cowboys got the living crap kicked out of them 44-19 by the Saints.
What did it read?
The original release said FEMA announced that federal disaster assistance is available to the state of Texas supplement recovery efforts in the areas affected by the New Orleans Saints on September 15th, 2024.
Dang. And that, look, there's some, why would they think that this is the good one? Because which city in FEMA do we associate the most?
New Orleans.
I mean,
Katrina.
Like, read the room a little bit here, folks. Wow. That is brutal, dude.
Mwah! I mean, it could not have gone any better. Christopher
or
Salas,
worse for the guy who lost his job because of the test.
Yeah.
Government job. He's probably keeping that.
there's a DC correspondent that saw this and replied with a, excuse me, I don't know if this is supposed to be sent out internally as a joke, but FINA just sent this to our DC bureau. So this wasn't just like shotgun blast to like the Texas test zone. It was like the national email list.
Yeah, you hit the wrong button on that one.
You didn't hit the BCC.
Yikes.
Or put in the like for internal use only.
Or just hit the test button. You hit all users, and you got to all of them. You got to all of them.
This is in the grand, like the fact that it was like a tongue-in-cheek joke of like the Cowboys just got the crap kicked out of them and that they're in emergency.
Save that for the playoffs.
But I mean, it is hilarious.
Yeah.
Very, very well done.
We've had some of these go wildly awry. What was it? A couple years ago, we had in Hawaii, they did the tsunami one that went. It was a test.
Yeah.
And it looked like a real message, and people freaked out. Wasn't that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what happens in Texas in this case? Does everybody run to the store to grab as many pair of jean shorts as they can?
Yeah. I mean, a Cowboys loss to the Saints.
Grab your Jordan 12s and jean shorts quickly.
Dang. That's a combo.
Oh, my bad. It was 11s. They were Concords.
I think what you do is you're running out of the Bud Light, because when I think of the Cowboys, I think of Post Malone doing those Bud Light commercials too. And isn't Emmitt Smith in some Bud Light commercials? Maybe you go get your Troy Aikman beer. Was it 8?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Remember he was suing Lamar Jackson over it.
So you go and you get your Troy Aikman beer and your box of tissues, just like toilet paper. Remember during COVID, toilet paper, hot commodity. I get your tissues and flat screen TVs because those got broken.
Yeah.
And your Troy Aikman beer. Maybe you get some Alamo. Get the Alamo beer. And then at that point,
don't go full Alamo.
Lone Star. You call it a day at that. Oh. Look at the basement of the Alamo.
What is it? Amberbach? Amberbach's the dark beer that they love down there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Not familiar.
Yeah.
Not familiar.
I'm not
with
a dark beerman, so. But I had a bunch of buddies when I was living down there that were from the area. They loved Amberbach.
They're Lone Star, which is not a good beer.
It's dark. Dark beers suck.
Yeah. Well, I like some dark beers. Well, I'll mess with the dark beer from time to time.
Gross.
Guinness is nice.
It sucks.
No. Guinness, Nitro Guinness.
You do
really
not.
Good.
No, you do not. Beer should not be chewable.
No, Guinness is not. Guinness is not one of those thick, heavy ones. It's a very light beer. It's light in alcohol content and in calories.
No, it's nasty. Tastes like oil.
Are you sure you've been drinking Guinness?
Yeah, it's nasty.
Are you positive?
Positive.
Well, you drink mojitos, so your palate is on notice.
You know what is kind of tasty though? Little Black Butte Porter. Do a half and half with that and some Lindemann's Framboise.
Oh.
Yeah, that is a lovely, like, kind of, Christmassy holiday drink.
See, the Black Butte Porter, I've never been a fan. That one is.
I'm not a dark
That's
beer
one
guy
of those
either.
ones that you can chew. I don't like that.
I'm not a dark beer guy either, but that is delightful.
All right.
That's like a meal in a cup.
Let's see. Oh, it was. We have P1 Lawrence. Yes. It wasn't a tsunami. It was the nuclear missile launch warning. Yeah, his P1 Lawrence, my bro got that, who is born and raised in Maui. He went out to the beach and said, "The hell with it." Well, that's one way to do it.
If you're
that's probably what I'm going to do. That's probably what I would do.
If you're in Hawaii and you're like in a nuclear launch zone or nuclear landing zone, throw on the sunglasses, bro.
Yeah. Just go ahead
you're not riding it out.
Yeah, just take it. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that.
Right?
You don't have a shelter.
No.
You're not going to be safe from that.
Like if all of a sudden, they always talk about like the, if you're in the West Coast and the tsunami's going to, like the big one when it comes, it's like, would I try to outrun it? I'm like, where am I going to go?
Yeah, there's nowhere to run.
You know what I mean?
There's nowhere to run. Yeah, it was the nuclear. Oh God, that would be terrifying.
If you're in a big city, like a nuclear missile is on the way. Get front row seats, bro.
Really? I think like big city, I may try to ride it out. I may try to find somewhere to go.
But I mean, I'm saying if you don't have the capacity to like
Yeah.
Let's say you're in the suburbs. Let's say that Portland's targeted and you're in Beaverton and it's a 75-mile radius that the thing's going to take out. It's like, well,
where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I go? Nobody has basements around here.
Nope.
That makes it tough.
Mm-hmm.
Makes it tough, man. I don't know what I would do.
There's plenty of people that are like preppers that have like storage zones, but not like basements.
Yeah, you ain't get when that thing just goes. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, you're kind of cooked.
All right, well, happy lunch, everybody.
Nuclear fallout. Yeah, it's good times. No, what can cool you off from a nuclear fallout? A nice ice bath.
Ooh.
It's another unhinged story from the book of Harbaugh from one of his players. We'll get to that and more here on a little fun with audio here on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan. Jim Harbaugh's insane.
No way.
Absolutely, totally crazy.
What would lead you to believe that?
I love guys who like football. Guys who like football, they like me back.
The milk-drinking, khaki-wearing monster, who we love. let's be fair. Well, one of his players has unearthed or announced to the world that he's also does something that's just absolutely crazy by hopping on with Chris Long on the Greenlight podcast. Joey Bosa unearthed or unveiled this new little tidbit about the crazy Chargers overlord.
Have you been to his RV yet?
I haven't even heard of the mobile home.
What, dude? Bro, he was living in a damn RV all summer.
Yeah, that's right in line with everything else he's done so far, so I believe it. I don't know why this is relatable, but now he's been hitting the cold tub and he just gets in full outfit.
No!
Shirt still tucked in.
No!
And he's just sitting there. Just sitting there. He's like, hey.
No, Joe, does he have khakis in the damn cold tub?
Belt, khakis. I'm sorry, Coach. I'm like, Coach, do those khakis, they keep a little insulation, keep a little warmth in there?
Oh, bro, yeah. I mean, like, it's kind of counterintuitive. You'd think a football guy like him would be like, I want to feel the cold.
Butt naked.
Yeah, pretty much.
You almost feel like there's a little bit of disdain there because where did Bosa go to school?
Ohio State. Yeah.
You can feel it in his voice, right?
Now, this is not new news to me.
You knew this?
Yes.
Oh.
Because this isn't a one-off that Harbaugh does just to be
weird,
cheeky and fun.
Like he does this?
No. Remember, during the draft process, Josh Wallace, who played for Michigan last year, he told the exact same story.
I don't remember this.
Harbaugh does this regularly.
Do you think he's a one and done guy with his clothes?
He will go in. No, he doesn't.
So he's getting in the cold tub with these clothes.
Yeah.
And changing, but not.
No, and then he just strips down, puts on new khakis, and he'll go socks, shirt,
no
sweatshirt,
shoes,
whistle. He just walks in off the practice field, and as everybody else going through the cold tub, boom, right there with my guys. This is something Harbaugh does regularly.
Doesn't hop in there with the tighty whities, huh?
They're under there.
There's
no doubt in my mind. Jim Harbaugh is a tighty whities man.
BVD.
There is
100%.
He does not wear boxers. He does not wear boxer briefs. No. He does not go commando. He is whitey. If anything else, he wears a jock strap.
Yeah.
That is what Jim Harbaugh is, whitey tighties or jock strap. There is no middle ground.
No.
He gets them from Costco, probably cycles through them regularly.
One and done.
Yeah. He doesn't let the funk happen in him. He recycles them out regularly. He is a whitey tighties guy through and through, and he hops in his khakis and then just throws them into team laundry.
Do you think he thinks it makes it worse? By being in his clothes, it's the cold is staying on him, opposite to the insulation theory, but it actually makes it colder.
Maybe, or he's just he sees the guy. So if you don't know, after practice, this is what happens. You take your pads off, and usually teams now will take their pads off, and they strip down the jersey. The bin is out there. Almost on the practice field. So you have your base layer underneath it because they have to get all the catapult stuff, all the tracking technology off of players. So they do that on the field. And so what they'll do is you'll go straight to a lot of the big schools will have a long cold tub that they walk through it. And it's probably 25 yards long. And they walk through the cold tub all the way down. And then you do that in your practice pants or your base layer. So you'll just walk right through, right there, right when you get done off the practice field. You'll see it at some schools that if they don't have the walk-through tub, they just have the big blue, above-ground swimming pools, and they just hop right in them afterwards. You do that in the base layer of your practice gear. So you either wear your practice pants in there, or you wear your compression shorts,
your Nike Combat,
and
shorts,
your compression undershirt, and you just hop in. Harbaugh looks at it. This is why I'm getting inside the mind of Harbaugh. Well, my guys do it in the stuff they're practicing in. I'm going to do it in the stuff I practice in, which is his khakis, his polo, and his sweatshirt. And he just hops right in there, just gets after. He's just one of the guys. You want to talk about a guy holding on to it? If Jim Harbaugh wasn't Jim Harbaugh, he would be Uncle Rico.
throwing that football over their mountain.
Yeah. Like he would not be able. He would be the guy playing the semi-pro football at like 37 years old.
Did you see the 37U?
Yeah, dude, that is one of my favorite videos of all time.
Oh my God, I just came across it for the first time last night.
That is so. If
that
you
is
don't know,
a bunch of humans who do not like their bodies.
That's what semi-pro football is.
Holy crap!
These guys are just adults, just wanting to play, just want to play ball still. And they just
ACLs that are being sacrificed on not a game basis, on a per play basis.
Yeah.
Like they are just offering them up to the football gods in mass.
Yeah, it's not great.
Every single play, there is somebody down on the ground and somebody's coming to drag somebody out. And I'm like, what the hell is happening here?
And they're paying money to do
this.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's crazy. And now there are a couple guys out there though that are look like former D1 guys, and then there's guys that are almost as bad off as me, and I'm going, oh no, sweetheart.
It ain't good.
Don't do this.
It's not good at all.
This is going to you're going to suffer for the rest of your life for this.
Yeah.
The glory is not there.
Mm-hmm.
Let it go.
Let it go, man.
Let it go. Look, I jokingly when I was watching, I told my wife, you know what? I started running last week. I could get back there. I could full back this up a few more times. Straight line.
Mm-mm.
We could be good.
No, you couldn't.
We could be good.
Mm-mm.
She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'm kidding. I would never.
Was this before or after you told her she had a mustache?
Oh, this is before.
Okay.
Yeah. To be fair, when I made the mustache joke, she was making fun of my hair and my
Perfect
Billy Goat beard.
Here's an interesting text on the Vancouver Ford text line. Does Harbaugh get dress socks first, you think? No.
Started the ball. There's a process. Yeah. Whatever it is, there's a process, and he does not deviate.
They are second. It is second.
Drawers first?
Yeah. He goes whitey tighties, and then he probably just plants himself on the side of the bed, and there's like a
when he puts the socks on. Last guy.
After everything?
Socks, then shoes. That is the final process. Yeah. Socks are always the last clothing element I put on.
Yeah.
I like to feel grounded.
They're second. I think there is a checklist Harbaugh goes through.
I don't like to walk around in socks. I've hardwood floors, and I always feel unsafe.
Oh, no, I don't. No, I don't do barefoot on the hardwood floors.
I do.
Don't like it.
See, I like that feeling.
Don't like it. I think what he does, Harbaugh goes, when he gets dressed in the morning, it is whitey tighties first, whistle second, socks
just
third.
Going full risky business, sliding around the house with the whistle on.
Yeah. Socks third, and then under t-shirt, and then pants. I bet there's an element where there's a real good chance that you walk into the Harbaugh house and he is wearing a shirt, whitey tighties, and socks. Because here's my theory. His undershirt he tucks into the whitey tighties.
Oh yeah.
And so he's going because it's common practice, right? So he's going calf high socks, whitey tighties, and a white t-shirt, and he with a whistle on. I do believe he's wearing a whistle.
Slides into the kitchen and just grabs a bowl of milk with no cereal.
Yeah, and he's just drinking straight out of the gallon of milk, and I think you see that probably regularly in the Harbaugh home.
Still with the shades and the Chargers hat on too.
No, I don't think he puts it. The hat is the last thing on.
Gotcha.
He goes pants, then he'll put on his polo, then his sweatshirt, and then as he's walking out the door, he flips the hat on because that's probably what his dad Jack did. You know, but there is a routine. I think I've nailed it. This sounds very Harbaugh, and I want to get inside the mind of Jim Harbaugh. It's going to be a scary place, but I want to tap into that. I want to tap into that a little bit. Golly. God bless Jim Harbaugh.
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah. Ooh, we have one that this could be in play too. Sock, shirt, whistle drawers. Well, that'd be a move. That'd be a move.
Just out here Winnie the Pooh in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you go? Here's another one. This one is: does Harbaugh go sock, sock, shoe, shoe, or sock, shoe, sock, shoe?
I
think he's socks
first, then shoes. I cannot do the because what if you have to get up and get something?
Well,
yeah,
I don't know.
I believe the discipline of the Harbaugh household is you don't wear shoes in the house too. I think that
So it's the very last thing you do.
Yeah, it's shoes then the hat.
Mm.
Yeah.
I was going to say we might be underestimating exactly how psycho Jim Harbaugh is, and he might go sock shoe.
Is he a hat off inside guy in the house?
Only if it's a Stetson.
No. In the house, yeah, because it goes off right when he walks in the door. I think. Yeah, I think it goes off right when he walks in the door.
I am a hat all the time human, except for in my house.
Yeah.
One of the first things I do when I walk in the house, empty my pockets, and I've got a little hat stand.
Yeah, no.
And hat goes on stand.
Mm-mm. Do you go sock, shoe, or do you go sock, shoe? Because you said you are last.
Yes,
last
socks, then shoes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're not a complete psychopath.
No.
All right, good.
Now, or you can be like me today and go, no socks.
I can't see that.
Slides, baby.
Yep. All right.
Not Crocs, just the slides.
Just the slides.
Coming up next, hour number 3 here. Historic day in baseball as Shohei Otani has maybe the greatest game ever played. Danny and Dusty, Danny the Fan. Hour number 3 here on a Football Friday on Danny and Dusty. Whether you're listening on 1080 AM, watching along on youtube.com/1080 AM The Fan, or twitch.tv/1080 AM The Fan, we appreciate you. We love you. Thank you for hanging out with us on this illustrious Football Friday.
I love football.
I love football too, but we're going to pivot for a second because last night in Major League Baseball, Shohei Otani may have given us the single greatest performance in baseball history.
Ooh, I love baseball too.
Shohei Otani, with his performance last night, became the first player in Major League Baseball history to join the 50-50 club. 50 dingers, 50 stolen bases.
I'm really glad I mentioned it yesterday during the show that we're on the cusp of 50-50 happening, because he was sitting heading into the day at 48 home runs, 49 stolen bases. Did not think that yesterday was going to be the day that he launched into the 50-50 club. But when you play the Miami Marlins, who are god-awful, 56 and 97, only 35 games back in the NL East.
Still got a shot.
I mean, it's no 52 and a half that the White Sox are back in the AL Central, but the Marlins are a disaster. And last night, we saw, I mean, truly, Otani is the best baseball player I've ever seen. Yeah. I mean, like Barry Bonds, Tony Gwynn,
Albert Pujols,
Barry Bonds, Tony Gwynn.
10 straight years.
Ken Griffey Jr.?
No.
But
I'm talking complete baseball players. Like the kid was that too, right? And Pujols is. I'm just giving you a hard time. We have seen like some of the greatest performances in baseball. Yeah. I mean, but Mike Trout just sucks. He's on the Angels.
Yeah.
What Otani is doing is bending the game. He's doing what made Babe Ruth considered the greatest baseball player of all time on a higher level, right? Because it was Babe Ruth, man. He could pitch and hit. Otani's better at it.
Yes.
He's better at it.
What he did yesterday. Okay, baseball is a game that goes back, if you're talking about like the quote-unquote modern-day records, is back to 1890.
That's what we consider modern day in baseball.
Yes. So you're talking about 134 years. You're talking about thousands of players. You're talking about tens of thousands of games. What he did yesterday has been done by 6 other players in just total bases alone. Sean Green has the MLB record of 19 total bases from 2002, hilariously, for the Dodgers, where he went 6 for 6 and had 4 home runs. Shohei Otani's day yesterday ended going 6 for 6 with 10 RBI, 3 home runs, 4 runs scored. He finished with 17 total bases. Okay. This is a stat courtesy of OptaStats. Since the RBI came official in 1920, only one MLB player has had, over the course of his entire career, a game with the following. And these are any of these, okay? 10 RBI, 6 hits, 5 extra base hits, 3 home runs, 2 stolen bases.
He did
it all in one game.
Yeah.
It is the single greatest baseball game we have ever seen.
It seemed like Miami just wanted history to be made in their own ballpark, though, because they lost 20-4.
They did. And the Marlins manager...
That's like a beer league softball game.
Marlins manager Skip Schumacher was asked about why he didn't intentionally walk Shohei Otani in that moment. He said, that's a bad move, baseball-wise, karma-wise, baseball gods-wise. You go after him, and you see if you can get him out. Now, I'm with Skip here. Mm-hmm. I think he is very much, he's a dyed-in-the-wool baseball lifer. This is what he does. And I think he did, quote-unquote, the right thing. But he also, because they were getting shelled at this point, did have an outfielder in pitching.
Well, yeah. Yeah. But his first home run, it actually came with a game that wasn't completely out of question. It was 7-3 when Otani got his first home run. And that was in the 6th inning. 7-3 ball game. It was going to be a high scoring game. Some days you just have those in Major League Baseball. You're like, golly.
Everybody's hitting.
Everybody getting them. But then Otani just did what he did, and it's unbelievable. And that's the thing about Otani, that the 50-50 club and being the first ever player to ever attain 50 home runs and 50 steals.
That. No one has ever, again, in the history of modern baseball,
yeah,
no one has done this. That's like, when you talk about records in sports, baseball records are held to the highest standard because of how long the game has been around and how little it has changed.
Yeah. In Babe Ruth's entire career, he had 123 stolen bases.
Good Lord.
Wrap your head around that. Like, obviously, Ruth had his 60 home run season, right? That we all hold in very high regard in baseball history and lore. He had 7 stolen bases. And this is the thing, like, in an era where you're not hitting for average anymore.
And he still is.
I mean, he's
294.
294, but like that's average now, but like 300 was always that mark in baseball. But you're looking at a guy in like Ruth in 1927 when he hit 60, he hit 356. Like 294 in 356, that is a chasm.
Oh, yeah.
But when you're not hitting 356 and you're still able to swipe 51 bags now, what he's doing is insane. Like the most steals that Ruth had in a season was 17. And he did a 59 and 17 season in 1921. Like that's an incredible year, because if you're a power hitter, you're not supposed to have speed, right?
No.
And this is what makes Otani just magical, is that in the field plus fielder. As a pitcher, he's got like a 3 ERA.
He's a top 5 pitcher in baseball.
Over his career. He's hitting for power. He's able to create opportunities with steals on the base path. And it's not just swiping second. He's stealing third base now, right? Like what he is doing is the epitome of being a complete baseball player. And that is where it's just when you watch him, it's like inspiring to watch. In an era of baseball where we're not just specializing in the sport of baseball, you're specializing in factions of the game of baseball, right? You have pitchers, they're just pitch. Like you're 8 years old and you're like, hey, guess what? You're a starting pitcher. Crazy. You develop into just being a pitcher in Little League now. Otani does both.
Yeah.
And he does it at an insanely high level.
And appreciate this season what it is, because you're never getting it again, because the second he starts pitching again next season, he's not touching a stolen base.
I don't like it.
They're not letting that man dive headfirst into second base as a pitcher.
I heard Dave Roberts talk about this, though.
Uh-huh.
And he said, like, we're not going to pull the reins back on him because he isn't a guy that leads with, one, his pitching hand, or two, he'll go feet first. Well, I mean, that's what Dave Roberts is saying now.
Let's see what happens when he's actually pitching next year.
Okay, but, I mean, this is where we're at right now.
Sure.
And he's probably going to, like, they're talking about him pitching this postseason.
Because
he's doing mound work, and he's already thrown in the pen.
It would be spicy.
It'd be over a year. And if you're doing the ramp up.
He's got to stretch his arm out, obviously. But it would be, I
love watching him play baseball, man.
You and I grew up watching Barry Bonds, who I think you can make a pretty clear argument is the greatest player of all time.
Roids or not.
Shohei is probably surpassing that.
Yeah.
Which is insane to think about. Now, he's not the greatest hitter of all time. That's Bonds. Like that's where that goes. When you get intentionally walked over 100 times in a season because they're terrified of you, like that's the nature of the beast. Shohei's not getting that level of power respect.
It's crazy.
But the greatness that he has shown this year is absolutely insane. And I saw somebody talking about this the other day. I was like, if Shohei Otani was doing this in the late 90s, the coverage that this would have gotten, like the monoculture kind of period. Remember when Hideo Nomo came over? How insane the coverage was for him. I think it was Suk. He said when he went out there that in Japan, Shohei goes up to bat, the city's come to a stop.
Yeah.
Like everybody stops and watches on their phones or on the the walls in the stores. It's just like the cultural phenomenon that he is.
It wasn't just Nomo, is Hideki Matsui too. Hideki Matsui, Ichiro, same thing. Like the coverage was wall to wall with those guys.
And I just imagine about the coverage that he would have gotten back then.
I think it is deserving of more coverage here. I think what is souring people is just the negative way that this year started, which that shouldn't change anything. He didn't do anything wrong.
No, his friend stole $16 million from him.
Yeah, and by the way, Otani's made all of that back this year.
That $700 million contract is worth every penny.
He really is, dude. It is. I don't think we'll ever see it again.
No, I don't think we'll ever see a season like this again.
But somebody will do something else that is equally as impressive. But I don't think we're going to see a season like a 50-50 season is bonkers.
The reality of that much power while also having speed is just insane.
Well, and
the other thing is he's 6'4", 240 pounds.
Yeah.
This isn't a little guy who just happens to rake some stuff over the fence. This is a massive dude.
I think you're giving him a few pounds there. He's not 240.
Have you seen him?
I have seen him.
I have seen him.
I love watching him. He is
an enormous human.
He's a big dude. He's a big dude. And that's the thing that's also crazy to think about is he is long, fast, and powerful. He's got everything. I love Otani. I love you, Shohei.
It's just I don't know what we do with this at all. Just kind of throw your hands up.
Yeah.
Just appreciate the greatness and move on.
No, we need to highlight it more because where does he end this thing at? Does he get to 55-55? Because 55-50, like the 40-40 club.
How many games they have left?
There's only 4 other guys in 40-40 club.
Yeah, probably 9 games left or so.
And he's in none against the Marlins.
Unfortunately.
God, who else do they play down the stretch? If they got the Rockies next. I mean,
is it in Colorado?
They've got.
Well, if it's in Colorado, there's a chance.
They've got 6 games against the Rockies remaining.
In Colorado, though?
3 in L.A., 3 in Colorado to end the year.
Let's not sell them short. Let's go hit that 60-60.
You want to get to 60-60?
Let's go 60-60.
I mean, if he's hot enough.
Rockies, don't duck him like the Marlins did not do.
Yeah.
Marlins pitching to him.
Yeah.
Give the people what they want. Give the people what they want.
You got nothing else to lose.
Man.
Be a note in history.
Yeah. He is the most dominant athlete in any sport right now.
Yes, hands down.
In any sport.
Hands down.
I mean, that takes into consideration soccer over in Europe.
Yeah, because Messi and Ronaldo are both like the GOATs are fading out.
He is more impressive than Patrick Mahomes. More impressive than, I don't even know who you want to call the best player in the NBA right now. More impressive than Nikola Jokic. What he is doing is
the separation between him and everyone else is just otherworldly.
Yeah. Nuts.
Which it's fun, man.
Way to go, Angels.
Hey, Shohei Otani going to the playoffs for the first time. God, that's gross, isn't it?
Just trade Mike Trout for a ham sandwich to him.
Just
they'll pay his contract. Just let Mike Trout go and play with Otani again. I don't want the Dodgers to have that. I don't. But you know what? I want something nice for Mike Trout.
Can you imagine an outfield of Mookie, Trout, Otani?
Yeah, I've seen it. It's called the All-Star Game.
Good Lord.
And you're sitting there, you're like, oh, well, I don't know. The guy who won the home run derby, Teoscar Hernandez, is going to be the odd man out then, huh?
That's your rotating outfielder when Shohei pitches.
Lord. I would love it. Baseball's great.
Good Lord. It's a fun place. You want to pivot back to some football real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, we got some news and notes from the NFL. One that I wanted to highlight, the Cincinnati Bengals, that DB room, they like to talk. We'll get to that and more coming up here on Danny Dusty, the Fan. Just gonna let this one play for Jeff Russ for a second.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to take a lot of love.
Ooh, Ryan with the great tweet. You know, we need to pump the brakes on Otani here. Ryan tweets us, LeBron could have done it easy if he trained for baseball. I mean, that's what LeBron fans would tell you. So could have Kobe. All it took was Mamba mentality, and he would have been able to do it. He would have been able to go 50-50.
Michael Jackson couldn't hit a curveball. Michael Jordan, excuse me.
Michael Jackson,
I'm sure Michael Jackson probably couldn't either.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to rule it out, though. You
love Lamp?
I love LeBron fans when they do that, though. Like, he could if he wanted to.
I'd rather deal with a LeBron fan than a Kobe fan any day.
Yeah.
At least it's believable then.
Yeah.
You know?
True.
You know?
Fair enough.
Cam Taylor-Britt, believable for the Cincinnati Bengals. He's a DB who likes to talk a whole heap of crap.
He's great.
He remember last week he said, we don't have to really worry about Xavier Worthy because if you get his hands on him, he can't do anything. And, they were right.
It bottled him up, and he got a good pick running stride for stride with Worthy.
So, okay.
Maybe because Patrick Mahomes kind of underthrew it, but it was an incredible catch.
But, hey, check cashed.
Yes, sir.
He wrote it. He cashed it. It's always hilarious when DBs write checks that they don't have to cash.
Yeah, well, you mean like every incompletion where they're like, incomplete. It's like, dude, he dropped the ball. Yeah. He was wide open. You fell down.
You blew the coverage. My favorite
What were you doing?
What is with the seatbelt? What is with the seatbelt now? Like the whole, I clamped him up, strapped him up, and I'm like, I've seen DBs, particularly in college, do this.
Yeah.
And they're nowhere near. And I'm like, what are you doing? Because he didn't throw your way because he completely missed the fact that you blew the coverage?
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't want any of this.
The best one, though, is the guy that absolutely mauls a guy and gets the flag thrown and then throws the seatbelt.
Yeah.
Clamped him up.
Didn't see the flag, and he's like, uh-oh.
And it's like, no, dude, you just bear hugged him for 12 yards down the field.
That didn't work out like I thought it would. Yeah.
The DBs, there is not a more unaware group of humans on the planet.
Nope.
No. But Cam Taylor-Britt, he's at it again. The Bengals will play the Washington Commanders in the not doubleheader, the near simultaneously casted football games on Monday
the double
night.
dip.
Right, Jeff Rust?
Double dip.
Not a doubleheader?
On Monday night.
Yes, double dip, not a doubleheader.
Near simultaneous broadcast.
Yes.
But Cam Taylor-Britt broke down rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels' game ahead of this matchup.
Yeah, composed. They don't make them do a lot, so they keep it really simple for them. Nice college offense. The Kingsbury's the OC, so a little move guys around here and there, but just keep it real simple for him. I heard his pass percentage is very high, but he's only throwing short routes. Some intermediate stuff, quick throws.
It's a little jumbled there, but what he said is they don't make him or ask him to do a lot because they're keeping it real simple and they're having him a nice little college offense.
Well, yeah, he said Cliff Kingsbury, offensive coordinator there, which he is correct. Mm-hmm. Cliff Kingsbury did coach in college. He was also an NFL head coach.
Yeah. Also, isn't Kingsbury the analyst there? Or is he the OC?
No, he's the offensive coordinator.
Okay, I thought he was the analyst there.
Yep.
Okay.
No, he was an analyst at USC.
That's where it was. That's what I had him back in my head still.
But now he is the offensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders. Remember when he got hired, everybody's like, oh, Commanders are going to get Caleb Williams because Cliff Kingsbury. He's worked with him. He knows him. Lincoln Riley, Cliff Kingsbury, buddies. And they didn't.
No. Also, he is a very smart OC and has the ability to be adaptable, I think.
I love he's just throwing short and underneath. It's like, dude, have you watched the NFL?
Yeah.
No, he hasn't because he's been playing in the games.
Yes.
But that's what you guys did to Patrick Mahomes. That's what he did.
Yeah.
Threw short and underneath.
Took 151 yards and a win.
Yeah, Jane Daniels he's been fun to watch. He's been up and down, though, as all of these rookie quarterbacks have.
He's been the best of them all, very clearly, but he hasn't, again, none of them have thrown for a touchdown yet.
No, they haven't. They've taken a lot of sacks.
Hey, Drake May had a chance last night.
That would have been my favorite thing, is if he would have gotten that touchdown, that first touchdown, then it's like, yeah, we don't see him for 6 more weeks because he's going to die behind that offensive line.
Yeah, because he got to the end of his drop, and then the ball needed to come out, and, well, the ball didn't come out because nobody was open, and then he got killed.
Yeah, that pocket collapsed in a hurry, and he was just like,
looked like a mine implosion.
Yeah.
His body's falling on top of him.
He's a big dude,
He
though.
is a big dude.
I was surprised at that. Knocking Jaden Daniels for taking what the defense gives him as a rookie, not sure that that's the take.
The look on his face is very matter of fact of like, it's meant very clearly as a backhand.
Is anything going to scare the Bengals from what they've seen from Jaden Daniels? No. And they probably shouldn't be scared.
Well, if anything does, it's his ability to extend plays with his legs.
Sure.
But, again, that has nothing to do with throwing the ball.
Bengals interior defensive line banged up.
Yep. Not the Bengals front that we're familiar with of the last couple of years.
If they get caught in this one, then you really start worrying about Cincinnati, because they would have 2 losses to New England and the Commanders and have an 0-3 start.
Yeah. If they hit 0-3, they're historically screwed.
But hopefully T. Higgins is back for them.
Jamar Chase can
hopefully
have a little more room to work.
Chase doesn't MF an official and get a penalty.
Yeah, and Joe Burrow's wrist is okay.
Joe Burrow looked okay.
Yeah.
He looked okay.
He looked better.
The panic after week 1 was he's dying. He's going to amputate the arm.
It's the bleach.
It is the bleach.
Seeping into his wrist.
That's right. It absolutely has. But, when the only guy who's been wildly effective for them is Mike Gesicki, the tight end, he's now questionable this week too. The hits just keep on coming for them. And B.J. Hill's questionable. Chris Jenkins questionable. McKinley Jackson's on the IR. Sheldon Rankins is questionable. That is the bigger concern for if you're Cincinnati heading into this game. Not necessarily, Cam Taylor-Britt running his mouth in the secondary. It's if they can't make life uncomfortable for Jaden Daniels, like you said, his legs will hurt you. And he will escape, and he will create, and he'll take the dink and dunk yards. But it's if he is able to gash you for 6-8 yards when he's scrambling, that's when Cincinnati will be in a little bit of trouble this weekend.
That's the interesting thing to come out of that game.
I hope Cam Taylor-Britt keeps making great plays and keeps running his mouth, because I need this.
Yeah, no, look, as much as Revis Island, it was like, oh God, here we go. It was entertaining.
Yeah.
It's fun. Back it up. I love guys who talk it and walk it.
For the guy to just go out there, we love every soundbite every week, but then there's going to be a week where he gets got over and over again, and he's going to have to face the cameras.
But you got to come back with it.
And he's still going to run his mouth, and it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco,
Let's go.
Terrell Owens. We've always had wide receivers who do this. I need more DBs backing it up.
Well, Richard Sherman did it he carried that burden for about a decade.
And guess what? He walked it.
Yeah. My thing I loved about Richard Sherman, though, is that when he had a bad game, he'd be
owned up it.
Yeah. But he was never what they did. It's what he did.
Aqib Talib. That was the last time we had somebody, the chain snatcher.
Aqib Talib.
Yeah.
Who's the other one? Cortland Finnegan.
Didn't
he get into the fight with Andre Johnson?
Yes.
Yeah, he was great too, because he would just talk, and then get burnt every week. Fantastic.
Hey, look, it's got to happen. It's Friday afternoon. It's 2:30, which means, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for America's favorite game show, Jeff Russ. Which we hit next here. But first, he's the big coon himself with the Sports On Update.
You ever had a Big Kahuna Burger?
This is a Football Friday edition of Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by the Odyssey app.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Stanford's. This classic American steakhouse has exactly what you've been craving. Visit them in Clackamas, Tanasbourne, or online at stanfords.com. First on the Fan, the number 9 Oregon Ducks idle this week before starting Big Ten play next weekend at UCLA. But Oregon State is in action, hosting the Purdue Boilermakers. Beavers 4.5-point favorites. It's a 5:30 kick tomorrow on the CW. Tonight, Washington State looking to start their season 4-0, hosting San Jose State. That's a 7 o'clock kick, also on the CW. Cougars are 13-point favorites. Some football for you this weekend here on the Fan family of stations. Number 12, Utah, at number 14, Oklahoma State. That's 1 o'clock on Fox and 9:10 ESPN Portland. And then later on, number 6, Tennessee, at number 15, Oklahoma, 4:30 on ABC. And that can be heard right here on The Fan. Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert did not practice today. He's questionable Sunday at the Steelers with a high ankle sprain. Seahawks running back Kenneth Walker III doubtful against the Dolphins with an oblique injury. Catch that game here on The Fan. Coverage starts Sunday at 11 a.m., kick at 1:05, and only 9 games left in the regular season for the Mariners. Twins and Tigers are currently tied for the final wild card spot, with the M's looming 2 games back. Seattle hitting the road, starting with 3 at Texas. George Kirby gets the start for the Mariners. Jacob deGrom for the Rangers. 5:05 first pitch on Root Sports. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Fan is live on YouTube and Twitch. And now, Window Nation brings you on-demand videos. Watch Window Nation's window into 1080 The Fan.
You come for the action. You play for the thrill. And when it comes to winning, you're here to win big. Spirit Mountain Casino. Now open. Top Golf Swing Suite. The state-of-the-art golf simulator with a luxury lounge experience, food and beverage service, and virtual games for golfers and non-golfers alike. Only at Spirit Mountain Casino. Elevate your game.
Isaac, we're out for Langdon Farms. The rain is coming. You're going to want to play your golf at a course committed to quality drainage. No place in our area is better in the fall and winter than Langdon Farms. Top-notch conditions year-round. It's where I play, just off I-5 in Wilsonville.
Protect your home before winter comes. Sawtooth Roofing has you covered. Call 503-258-8017 or visit sawtoothroofing.com to schedule a free roof inspection. At Sawtooth Roofing, our most important roof is yours.
Bellagio's Pizza, a local favorite since 1996. This is Mike Barrett. There are 13 locations in our area now, and it's never been easier to order. You can order online or download the
It's 2:30-ish on a Friday afternoon, which means, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Jeff Russ, America's #1 game show. Jeff Russ, take us away.
The number 9 Oregon Ducks off this week before beginning Big Ten play next week at UCLA. Oregon State, though, they've got the Purdue Boilermakers coming into Reser tomorrow. The Beavs 4.5-point favorites in the 5:30 kick on the CW at 4.5 points. Who you got? The Beavs or the Boilermakers?
Give me the Beavs. They're gonna boil the makers. Make them boil.
I got the Beavs in this one too, because it wasn't just the fact that Purdue got manhandled by Notre Dame last week. It's the fact that they got banged up in the process of getting manhandled by Purdue. Oregon State, that performance was a rout. They get Van Wells back at center. They get Darius Clemens back at wide receiver this week. I think they find themselves against Purdue making the long trip.
More like Purdue don't.
Hey,
got him.
You can get in the door as low as $13.
Ooh. More like per go to the game.
Yeah. Purdue get tickets.
The line for number 12 Utah at number 14 Oklahoma State has been all over the place due to the uncertainty of Cam Rising and his availability. It's 1 o'clock kick on Fox. Coverage on 910 ESPN Portland starts at 12:30. Straight up, who you got? The Utes or the Cowboys?
I'm gonna roll with Whittingham here. I think he's playing coy. I think a little possum here. I think Cam Rising's gonna play.
I just don't know because I think Utah does win if Cam Rising plays. I believe it in my bones.
I'm going mullet on mullet. I'm not going with Gundy.
But Gundy's got mullet too.
No, I'm saying me. I'm going against Gundy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, Kyle Whittingham kind of
has one.
He's had some flow in the past.
Yeah.
If Cam Rising plays, I got the Utes. But
I think he's going to go.
Kyle Whittingham did this for 5 weeks last year.
They still got, is it still, Bryson Barnes, the backup?
No, it's Isaac Wilson.
Isaac Wilson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Zach
right.
Wilson's
yes.
brother.
That's
His
right.
clone.
No more pig farmer.
Yeah, no more pig. Thank God.
Yeah, isn't Sam Heward the other quarterback there?
I don't know.
I think he is.
Wow. I don't know. I have no idea.
I'm almost certain.
Well, that's a fall from grace. He was one of the top quarterbacks in the country coming out of high school.
I could be wrong.
Brandon Rose and then Sam Heward is on the roster.
Yeah, I thought.
Wow.
Yeah.
Danny's 11th ranked USC Trojans heading to the Big House to face number 18 Michigan, 12:30 on CBS. The Trojans 4.5 point favorites. Does that line feel wonky?
Or
just about right?
I think it feels just about right based on the fact that USC going to the Big House, going on the road, and Michigan's defense is still pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. I think it feels right because they're getting an extra 3 for just being at home.
Yeah. Make me feel so good. I think if USC wins this game, they're going to win pretty handily. But I think if it's close, it's going to be Michigan one. So it feels like the line's probably about right.
The Jets moved to 2-1 on the season with last night's 24-3 trouncing of the Patriots. Aaron Rodgers, 27 of 35, 281 yards, 2 scores. New England held to just 139 total yards. I've heard that's not very good.
That's not.
Yeah.
Not great, Bob.
So this is the Jets team we should expect moving forward.
Or
last night was just kind of a mirage.
Hey, look, man, I'm stopping by the Desert Oasis and I'm drinking what I'm finding here. I think the Jets are figuring some stuff out.
I don't think we should take any win over the New England Patriots and have a sweeping generalization of it. But
Fair.
I also think that they're not as bad as they were on Monday Night Football to start the season against the San Francisco 49ers. They damn near lost to the Tennessee Titans, and it took Will Levis doing stupid S for that to happen.
I think
Surrender
it's
Cobra.
a matter of figuring things out for the Jets, and I think they are.
Yeah.
The
They are
Patriots
starting
are
to
a
figure it
great
out.
team to figure stuff out against.
But they will come back to earth after next week. They have Denver, and then they have Minnesota, Buffalo, Pittsburgh.
That's tough.
I mean, Pittsburgh's offense, no. But Pittsburgh's defense going to present a lot of problems for him. Mirage.
Gotcha. Speaking of Rodgers and the Jets, a bit of an awkward exchange between Rodgers and head coach Robert Saleh. As it appeared, Rodgers shoved him away while coming in for the bro hug. And then as he walked away, too, Rodgers gave him quite the side eye. So the denied bro hug, big deal.
Or
just being a competitor.
I don't think it's a big deal at all.
I don't either. I think this is Aaron being locked in.
I don't. Yeah. I also, we overreact to sideline interactions because you don't see the before, you don't see the after.
Mm-hmm.
If Robert Saleh think of it this way. If Robert Saleh said, you a bad MFer, right, comes up to him, goes for the broad, and Aaron Rodgers is like, yeah, I am. And he kind of just shrugs it off and then gives him like the stink eye to the side. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. And it's Aaron Rodgers. Who gives an ass?
Yeah, and not that, like
he does that to his own family.
Do you remember? Oh wow. Do you remember when Peyton Manning talked about how he went at Jeff Saturday?
Yeah.
Who's like one of his best friends? Like he went over there ready to kick Saturday's ass, and then all the other offensive linemen came together and let Peyton know that you don't come over here to this side of the bench.
This is yeah.
During games, stuff happens,
and I don't think Aaron Rodgers likes anyone.
No,
I don't.
Does anyone like Aaron Rodgers?
Turns out, actually, yeah. He's got a lot of former teammates that ride for him.
Yeah,
like a lot of them.
Well, yeah, the guys that he threw the ball to relentlessly. How about Aaron Rodgers throwing his first touchdown of his career to a first-round pick yesterday?
Oh, wow.
Garrett Wilson, the first ever first-round pick wide receiver to catch a touchdown.
I guess, yeah, they don't really do that in Green Bay, do they?
Pick?
Yep.
Oh, that's right, yeah, okay.
Never had a first-round wide receiver in Green Bay and only played 4 plays last year. So
wow. That's crazy.
I'm selling on that. Whatever.
All right.
He's going to win.
We got one more quick one here because we're coming up against it. Shohei Otani, arguably the best single-game performance in the history of baseball last night. Also the first member of the 50-50 club. 6 of 6, 2 doubles, 3 homers, 10 RBI, 4 runs scored, and 17 total bases. Who are you taking in their prime? Shohei Otani
or
Barry Bonds?
Depends on what you need him for. We're talking one plate appearance, Barry Bonds. We're talking about a game, Shohei.
I'm taking Otani. I think Otani's the best baseball player I've ever seen in my life. Complete baseball player.
Yeah.
Because if I
But again, if you're talking one plate appearance, Bonds.
Yeah, but no, I'm still going to go Otani.
Okay.
I'm still going to go Otani. Final answer. Shohei Otani.
There we go. All right, we got a break.
I mean, they're just saying I pitch to Bonds.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's going to get on base.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff Russ. Oh, you can find it Friday afternoon every single week, around 2:30-ish. Coming up next, we'll wrap up today's show with a little look at the Cougs and Beavs and TCU getting all the shade off at the CW. Danny and Dusty, Danny the Fan. Ducks are off, but the Beavs are on. They'll be on the CW.
C-Dubs.
Which TCU, their social media is very, very, very good. They put out a This Is SportsCenter type video called One Tree Frog Hill, where they went about it like the old This Is SportsCenter videos and ended it with there will be on the CW, unfortunately.
Yeah, they did a thanks ACC because they have to play SMU this week, and it'll be actually the precursor to Oregon State. There's a doubleheader, an official doubleheader, Jeff Rust, because 2:00 you got TCU SMU on the C-Dub, and then right after that at 5:30 it's Oregon State and Purdue. But I wonder because Tom Brenneman is on the call there of Reds fame. I don't know if I'm going to be able to put this headset on ever again. He's on the call for that.
Indeed.
I don't think that the meeting pre-show is going to go over too well with them tonight in the coaching staff. You know, I love the CW's response because they did the frog from the WB.
Yes, dancing frog.
WB.
Yeah. Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling.
They retweeted TCU with just that gift, and that's it. Like they came right back at him like, yeah, sorry, sucker. Yeah. You're a Big 12 team. We don't care. We got ACC football on the C-Dubs and the Pac-12.
It's
so
funny.
Crotch chop. Fantastic back and forth.
Lean in.
Fantastic back and forth. But for Oregon State, I mean, you got to exercise some demons from what happened last week in Research Stadium against Oregon. You put up a decent enough fight offensively in the first half. And then the second half, you got your teeth kicked in. And I think Oregon woke up, but I think that with Oregon State, the injuries up front, those killed them. I mean, Van Wells not being on your – when you go down 2 offensive lines, when you lose your left guard and your center against a front like Oregon's front was going to be a problem anyways.
Yeah.
And we saw exactly how big of a problem it was. Your only rushes over 10 yards were from your quarterback scrambling. So I think they settle back in. Purdue is not nearly as imposing as Oregon is. They got banged up last week against Notre Dame. You can take your shots over the top. And with Darius Clemens back, maybe you have the opportunity to do that a little bit more. And Giovanni McCoy is going to be a problem for Purdue to keep up with just because of the fact that you have to be so disciplined when you cage him in, because if you give him an alleyway, he will take it and he will run.
Yeah, he's dangerous once he gets loose.
He is. And I think for the defense,